Hey, what's up? Today we're gonna analyze a track of mine called Beating the Bass and how I arranged two guitars for it. This track consists of what's called hip hop instrumental or hip hop beat, and it was made some years ago when I had the idea of selling beats online. Initially, I had some doubts if it was going to work out, but I think that kinda did. Please let me know if you also think so. Let's go! Harmonic and melodic atmosphere. I've written this beat trying to create some kind of a mysterious atmosphere. For achieving this, I used the melodic minor scale, its chords, intervals, and notes. You can download a PDF with this scale in the key of C# all over the fretboard at my site following the link in the description of this video, okay? Chord voicings. Throughout the track, I used various voicings made with notes from this scale. Here are some of them. By the way, you can hear them, but you won't see me playing because they belong to the original version of the beat and it just wasn't filmed. Sorry. Use of space. Throughout the track, I tried not to overplay, always leaving space for the other instruments to make their own statements. My idea was to let the music and the rhythm breathe freely. Since this is a piece of music with one static tonal center and no harmonic variation, I felt that it asked it to be treated very gently, without much interference on its flow. So I tried to play in a very relaxed manner, laid back, listening to the other sounds, give them time to develop or to be static without the need to always jump in and say something with the guitar. I let the track evolve at its own pace. Chromaticism and cluster. Besides the fact that this track was written using the melodic minor scale, some chromatic notes were used to enhance the melodic phrasing, making the music more interesting. Here are some examples. Also, the use of diatonic clusters, notes that belong to the scale and are a minor or a major second apart, creates a very interesting tension. This happens here. Guitar vocabulary. As far as guitar techniques and tricks are concerned, in order to make the musical and emotional statements I wanted, I used two-handed tapping, wide intervals, slides, and more. Musical dialogues, the agreement. Since the beginning, it became clear to me that even though at first I wrote the track with the intention of selling it as a beat for MCs to rap over, it wouldn't be a good idea to simply try to use the guitar as a substitute for a rapper. Now that seems a little obvious to me, but at the time it didn't, okay? So I needed to come up with some very strong ideas on how to make interesting musical statements that could be meaningful and not just solo over the track as if it was simply a backing track. I definitely did not want to do that. After all, my intention is to always be relevant as a guitar player by making the music matters. So my conception for this track was to create musical dialogues between the instruments, and to use silence as a musical component. This way, I could substitute the human vocals with something musically interesting and able to create meaning. The original track had already some guitar parts, not on video, that sort of commented over the harmonic and rhythmic backgrounds, and I took advantage of that and started to answer with my new guitar parts on video. This musical dialogue is taken up a notch with the addition of another instrument to the conversation, the piano, that appears in two instances, playing what could be considered the theme of the song. Now we have three subjects talking to each other, all of them using silence and letting the others talk in a very harmonious way. In this context, everybody, the instrument, agrees. Everyone has the same opinion and each commentary adds up to the other, and so on. Let's hear it in action. Musical dialogues, the contrast. To spice things up a bit and create a certain drama, in some moments I started to introduce contrast, disagreement between the instruments. This can be heard here when the sweetness of the piano is challenged by an aggressive two-handed fast and dissonant guitar phrase. Another contrast that takes place in this track is the opposition between the digital and the human elements. The stiffness of the electronic sounds and rhythm is somewhat rivaled by the more fluid, less precise and more angular human performance on the guitars and even on the piano. As a matter of fact, I think this is the main element at play here, the presence of the human that connects the neutral technology with emotion and artistic expression that provides a kind of a soul to the music, helping it in the creation of a piece of art with deeper meaning and purpose. This way, I think this helps me to prove my point about the importance of the role of the guitar player to make the music matters. Now, this track is not just an instrumental hip-hop beat without a rapper, a backing track without melody, an empty and soulless canvas. Now it's music.